must provide the strength and wisdom to perform the duties and fulfill the responsibilities required by our oaths of office. May our actions be pleasing to God and meet the expectations of the citizens we serve. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead and call our meeting to order for July 15, 2025. Just a side note, council met at work session earlier, no action taken, but I do appreciate the council's ability to come in and have the discussion today. We'll be bringing some of those items back up in a subsequent council meeting, so thank you for your participation today, council. I really appreciate that. Before you have regular minutes from July 1st, 2025 and special meeting minutes from July 2nd, 2025, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
Make the motion.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of minutes from July 1st and 2nd, 2025. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are on to public comments, and I'm gonna call on Bobby and Sharon Monroe. And those of you who are on council may remember Bobby was with Datamax, who was an endorsed program of the municipal league when we hired them to find businesses that weren't paying their taxes, and that's been a very successful thing for us. So we appreciate your getting us involved in that. But now Bobby has moved on, and his wife Sharon have moved on to another program that's also an endorsed program by the West Virginia Municipal League. It's called Prevent and Protect. I'm going to turn the floor over to you guys.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members, for allowing us to come in and speak to you tonight about our program. Paul, it's always good to see you, John and Mark. I always love working with you guys in the village of Barboursville. I always say this is the best village in the state. It's the only one, right?
That's right.
But yeah, through the program that Mayor was talking about, we brought back a little less than $16 million back to the state through the B&O program.
Wow.
When I heard about this program, I was like, I don't know, I'm getting ready to retire. I don't know if I want to make a career change this late. I said, tell you what, I'll come listen. If my wife can come and listen, because she's been in this industry for 33 years. And they said, fine. So they heard her talking, they're like, we want to hire her too. So anyway, we're happy to be here tonight. Hopefully I'm going to stumble through it. I told John if I stumble too much, tell me to sit down and let Sharon take over. But we're real excited about it. We feel like this program is going to be bigger and just more lucrative for not just the cities, towns, and village, but also for the school boards, the counties. We've had 42 meetings so far, not counting council meetings, and no one's told us no yet. So don't be my first one until I told me. But it is called Prevent Protect. Current West Virginia clients, this program is not new across the country, but it is new to West Virginia. And the West Virginia Municipal League has endorsed us. They're also a client. They're on the program already. And I hadn't talked to you yet, but I was just telling John and Mark that the National League of Cities just endorsed this yesterday, and a press release is coming out Thursday. So we're super excited about those two endorsements. St. Mary's is a client, Princeton, Clarksburg, Taylors County Board of Education, and Lewis County Board of Education are already clients. Committed already is Marion County Board of Education, Harrison County Board of Education, Doddridge County voted on us last night. Doddridge County Schools, and then City of Nitro, we've already got their letter. City of St. Albans and City of Moundsville has also committed. But we've had just several meetings this week. I won't bore you with those, but the program has three sections to it. It's the physical, the mental health program, and also the financial side of it. And the physical side of it, we didn't realize, but 7 out of 10 people that are walking around have a chronic illness, and 4 out of those 7 don't even know they have one. And we did just find out in West Virginia, 40% out of those 7 have 3 or more chronic illnesses. So this program can help prevent and also protect their future. the way it does that, there's several things on the fiscal side of it. It has diet plans. I don't like to call them diet because the first three letters of diet is die, because I love to eat. But nutrition through the Mayo Clinic. They also have an app on your phone that you can scan your face, and it can pick up early signs of chronic diseases, but also can monitor your high blood pressure, your breathing, your stress. As I scanned it, it said you have skin of like a 76-year-old. And I said, okay, great, thanks.
Sunscreen.
I'm 61, but I don't ever wear sunscreen. But so many things that the wellness of it on the physical side does. And then we were telling the mayor on the mental side of it, and you can all relate to the mayor needing the mental help. I'm joking, Mayor. But no, that's
right.
I mean, because seriously, years ago, you never talked about going to see, a therapist or anything like that. And now, with so many things going on, me and Mr. Porter was just talking about the floods around here, things that he's seen, and not counting our first responders and stuff like that. I mean, think about Texas. I don't know if you've seen the police officer, he's standing all by himself in the woods. He's like big guy, he's doing this. And just imagine what he's going through and the things that, he needs to talk to somebody about. My brother carried out a 2-year-old, he's a captain down in Shalot with the fire department, carried out a 2-year-old burned to death. And I said, brother, you okay? He said, I'm fine. I said, you need to go talk to somebody. He said, no, I'm fine. I said, no, you're not. You need to talk to somebody. So this program, it meets all those things. The financial side of it is the beauty part of it is that the village of Barboursville provides this for the employees. And how they do that is through FICA savings. So it's 100% tax write-off for the village. And it does not decrease the bring home pay of your employees, which is huge. Anytime you talk about a supplemental program, a lot of times, and we're not here to replace anything that they currently have, we're here just to enhance what they have and what they need more of. And anytime you talk to an employee about benefits, they're like, the first question is what? How much is this going to cost? Is it going to change my pay? And the nice thing about this, it doesn't. In fact, if it does anything, your pay is going to increase a little bit through the FICA savings. So if they have any pre-existing conditions, it will not exclude them from coming on board to get more life insurance, short-term, long-term disability, accidental, critical care. So all those things are important, and so many people that are out there, they know they need a life insurance policy, or they know they need short-term, long-term disability, but they can't afford it, or they don't want to pay for it. So that's kind of like a top line of the program, and I hope I've made a little bit of sense about this, but I want to let Sharon kind of dive in a little bit deeper with the numbers so that you understand the allocated funds from Barboursville down to the employee.
I kept noticing you were backing up a little bit.
Well, I want to see everybody.
So again, I'm Sharon Monroe, and thank you for seeing us. My experience has been employee benefits for 33 years. I was on the broker side, the carrier side. My last 12 years was really on the broker side. So when I would come in and present, I would really be presenting to HR and trying to figure out how they're going to overcome their renewal increase and how we were going to strategically plan to either for them to absorb their plan designs or change a plan design or absorb that renewal, or how they were going to kind of pass that on to the employees. So it got a little frustrating my last few years. I was very burnt out of having to deliver those high renewals because everybody was getting them, and it was heartbreaking for me. So I retired for about 18 months. And then this company came to him, and to sit down and listen to a company say that they could actually give back, there's something that we could walk in and tangibly give someone, just meant the world to me, because I've always been the one giving those renewals. So, but as Bobby said, it is a FICA savings on your payroll. So what you pay in on your employees, Social Security, federal, state, and Medicare, that's where this savings comes from. And so a bucket of money is set aside for the village, and it's approximately $600 per enrolled employee. So you can pretty much do the math, 600 times your, can't remember your total number of employees right now, but I've had so many running through my brain.
75,
Okay.
somewhere around 75, yeah.
So 600 times 75. That would be your annual new line budget item, your revenue positive, okay? So you're automatically revenue positive there. For your employees, the way it works, and I'll kind of do it in an illustration, sorry, I use my hands a lot, but if you have your pay over here that currently happens, do you pay 100% of your benefits now? Okay, so if you have your benefits over, if you have your pay over here, you have your gross pay. If you have a line item for Section 125, that's where your next line item would be. So that would be for any dental premiums you pay, any vision, if you do a 401k, if you do anything like that. So that would be the next line item currently. Then you have your net income, and then it would show your taxes that came out of that amount of money, okay? On this side, what happens is just about the same thing. There's a couple of different lines. So you have your gross income, you have your Section 125 that you're currently paying, and then you have another pre-tax Section 125 line for the wellness plan. And the wellness plan is through Attentive, and I'll talk a little bit more about that once I get finished with this, since I've already started down this road. But that cost, nothing is free in this world, so that cost is $1,173. That $1,173 is given back to each employee that enrolls in that wellness plan on a pre-tax basis. So that automatically brings their pay, their taxable income down. So with that taxable income coming down, your next line item would be your Attentive cost, which is $89 per enrolled employee. Excuse me, let me back up. No, that's not what it is. If you look at your taxable savings from your taxes over here to your new taxes over here, because your income level is now lower, you have a tax savings. Normally it's about $260, $280 in a bucket, okay? So those are your tax savings from this old payroll to the new payroll. Okay, so from there, from your taxable savings, that's where the money is coming for each employee to pay their $89 for their Attentive plan. And then anything that's left over, they can purchase a supplemental benefit. We have carriers that we will quote and market to come up with the best group rating. It's lower than an individual rate, best group rating. And so that money, we can sit down with each employee and say, okay, let's talk about what you have today. We're not trying to replace anything they have. Let's talk about what you have today and see how we can bridge a gap between what you have currently and what you might need in the future. And we talk about that financial wellness. And all of the products that are on our supplemental plan, it's life insurance, guaranteed issue up to a certain amount. Usually it's $125,000 for individual for the employee, and then it's half of that for the spouse, and then an amount for the child. So guaranteed issue, short-term, long-term disability guaranteed issue as well, and then your critical illness, and then hospital indemnity. So if you think about all of those lines of coverage, every single one of them, in the event that something happens to that employee, that benefit is paying them or their beneficiary. So the life insurance would pay the beneficiary to bridge that gap because they're gone now. The disability would bridge the gap if they needed to be out of work for a procedure. So that's going to pay them their income so that they don't have to file bankruptcy, which, by the way, is the #1 cause of bankruptcy, your medical benefits. If they don't pay anything or if you're not working, that's why people file bankruptcy. Critical illness pays in the event that they're diagnosed with a critical illness, pays a lump sum to that employee, again, bridging that gap if they have to be out of work. And the same thing for hospital indemnity. If you go inpatient, it pays for an inpatient confinement as well as a per day premium back to you while you're hospitalized. So all of these create that financial wellness that's very important for an employee. So again, we would look at the bucket of money that they have, and we try to come as close as possible to spending that money so that they would have these benefits at no cost to them because it's being provided through the tax savings through the village, okay?
And I was just going to say too, one of the stories that this is a real story from Princeton. A young lady came in, sat down with one of our enrollers, actually Emily, who's our counterpart, and she said, I love the sounds of this program. She's like, but I know I won't qualify. She said, because I have cancer.
Just diagnosed with
just diagnosed with cancer. And she had a little girl, And Emily told her, she said, no, you will qualify for this. It doesn't, harm you from being on it just because you're pre-existing with cancer. And the lady started crying, Emily started crying. Anyway, long story short, it was a great fit because now she was able to take out policies that would help protect her daughter in the future, because she knows that, I think she was in stage 4, I think, cancer.
I don't know anything about that.
And then also, I think I told Mayor about Mayor Rader and Ripley, believe it or not, I always say that when I say Ripley. You gotta remember,
You'll keep doing that.
Mayor Rader sat down with us and she said, this sounds great. She said, I wish I would have known about this before. One of my council members came in and his eyes were a little yellow. One of the other council members said, hey, have you been to the doctor about that? He said, what are you talking about? You need to go to the doctor. He said, no, I'm fine. Well, he goes to the doctor, stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and he only lived like 2 months after that. So
That
real
phone scan would have caught that,
yeah,
just like that.
the phone scan would have called it. So anyway, those are real life stories, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt,
No,
but
that's fine.
I wanted to add those 2 quick stories.
No, and it is real life, and it's real life that people right now, you think about benefits and they walk in, they're like, I can't pay for anything else. I can't afford anything else. So they're not getting what they need or what they could potentially need down the line. And that's why it is such a big passion for us to make sure, not only financial, but the wellness piece. And Attentive is the company that we have partnered with. They do an amazing job with wellness. Employees have an app on their phone. They can look at a tablet. They can look at their computer. And basically, in the beginning, they would fill out a health risk assessment, which is a few questions about them. And it asks about their health and where they are right now. It also makes them think, it asks them kind of probing questions and makes them think about their family. What did your mom and dad have? Is there something that could track down the line to you that could be a critical illness? Heart attack, heart disease, things like that. So that just starts making us think about it. Even when we're young, we think we're invincible, but people get sick now at a younger age than they ever did, which is crazy. So this kind of helps to kind of pick your brain to think about what could happen down the line. And also, as it goes through and it calculates all this, the Mayo Clinic has triggered the system to give pamphlets and flyers and articles, things that they can read up on. And obviously with the face scan, they can definitely use that on a daily basis, or if the doctor wants them to track their vitals and take that back to the doctor, that could catch something very quickly. So it's very important, the wellness aspect of it. And I can't remember it. We've had so many meetings, and I apologize if I'm repeating, but 24 hours, 7 days a week, teledoc, 0 copay. So if your plan has a copay now and they use this plan, it does not hit your medical claims at all on your medical side, and they have a 0 copay.
Which will help
So
keep costs down in the future.
Absolutely. So many aspects of this. There's a lot of, when you think about wellness, we think about mental wellness as well, but on this platform is also, they have anything from addiction, teen and child behavior. I mean, so many things that you can just tap into without having to pick up the phone and call someone. It's just right there at you.
And one of the things that we do is for use for Barboursville, we can do a blind census basically, so that and council knows before we ever take it to the employees what your savings is, and then what each one of your employees' savings are. And I mean, we're doing it for several cities and school boards right now, these census, because they want to see that. But just the fact of $600 average savings per employee that's on the program, and the nice thing about it, if the employee is on the program and their family is on the program, they also qualify for parts of the benefits as well. So, but we wanted to tell you about it, see if you had any questions, and I sure hope you have a ton of questions, because every time we present, people's like, no, Sharon did a great job, but you really messed it up. And I'm like, well, thanks. But no, seriously, do you guys have any questions about anything, facets of the program at all?
Is there like a website we could go to get information?
I can send you some information. All of the carriers have websites, so yes, I can send you all of that information so that you can do some homework as well. Absolutely. Most of the time when we especially when we get to the employee meetings, they're like, that you kind of look out in the audience and they have this glazed look on their face like, this is way too good to be true. This cannot be happening. So it takes the education of the employee to make, and then to sit down with them and then reiterate, no, really look at this. This is your bucket of money. This is what you get to spend today. How do you want to spend it, you know? And then that's where the excitement comes from, because they actually can see it. So, but yes, I will get some information. Did we send it through?
Yeah, if you don't care, get the nuts and bolts to me and I can send it out to them
Absolutely.
As a group, and then we can continue our discussions. I'll say too, thank you for coming and presenting. I think we are always just on the hunt for things that improve quality of life for our employees.
Sure.
And I was very interested when we first started talking about this, and after I had my discussion with folks at the league and Mark a little bit, I appreciate you guys coming and presenting to council.
Sure.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
I know you have to be in Fairmont too, so I don't want to hold you up. But thank you guys for coming, and
You're
then I'm
welcome.
looking for an email from you guys, and
Okay.
whenever I'll get it to council.
You'll have it by the end of the week.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you guys.
Appreciate
Safe
your time.
travels. See you soon.
Take care.
All right, the next person signed up to speak is Larry K. Brumfield, Marriage, 723 Marriage Street, Department B. 2 topics, 1 and 2.
Okay, first thing I'd like to talk about is I'd like to thank the city for repairing the dangerous situation on Main Street that I've talked about at the last 2 city council meetings, namely the situation of the missing brick in the middle of the sidewalk on Main Street in front of David Hill Limited. The last time I talked about it at the city council meeting was July the 1st, and I went over there early in the morning the next day of July the 2nd, and it had already been repaired, like amazing. And whoever repaired it did an excellent job using some kind of asphalt material, and he had it leveled out with all the other bricks, so that dangerous situation has been removed. There's no chance of anyone falling in the hole, which no longer exists. So that's the good news, but the bad news is it's really not finished. We hope that, I talked to Michelle Hill about it, and she was very upset that the actual red brick had not been replaced, you know, restoring it back to the way it originally looked. She has high standards, so we're hoping it's a temporary situation. Will the brick be put back the way it was?
We're looking at replacement of sidewalk all over town. I'm not sure. That's going to be the fix for now. That's going to be the fix for now. It's safe.
Oh, yeah.
And we're looking at replacement of that section of sidewalk holistically for sometime this year anyway. So that's probably going to be the way it's going to be for a while.
Well, that'll be great. I was thinking you have some difficulty in getting, you know, matching brick. There's a planter just down the street. You could take a brick from like the curbside and replace it, and then fill that hole with the black asphalt material. But I'll tell Michelle then that eventually it'll be
Then it's going
fixed
to
the way
look
it
bad
should
in
be.
front of another business, and they're going to like it. So I think we're good. Anyway, what's your second topic, Larry?
Well, the second topic has to do with the Barboursville newsletter. Here it is, the middle of the month, still haven't received it. So what else is new? It's been that way for months. And so I emailed Rachel, you know, asking, you know, what the problem was. And she said it had to do with the printing company, that they're just not getting on the ball to, you know, to get it out at the first of the month. Well, what I'm going to say, they've had how many months to get it right? Still haven't got it right this far. I don't think they ever will. But that brings me to a more important point. You know, the Barboursville newsletter is a slick publication, you know, and then the mayor had the statement, and Sharon Smith of the Senior Center had the statement, and that's about it. You know, it's slick and pretty, the colors change and so forth, but it really doesn't have much substance. I mean, it's pretty pathetic, really. What I would like to see is to go back, you know, back when Paula was the recorder, where we had the Village People newsletter, where all the department heads could write something, and you know, they decorated it up, and it was printed in-house. you know, to save money, and it came out on time because you all had control over it. It's kind of like getting a card, like a birthday card, you know, where you get something meaningless, you know, a generic from some company, as opposed to getting something handmade, you know, which means more. But with all the department heads, you know, writing something, you know, in their own style of writing, like Sharon Smith has a particular style, you would really get a sense of all the different personalities, you know, that work for the city. So I would definitely like, first I want to thank Rachel. When I emailed her, she got back to me really, really quick, so I appreciate that. But what is the process for getting, you know, restoring the village voice, or the village people? I got the wrong publication confused. The village people, you know, as it was. What do we need to do to get that to happen?
Talk to the printer, but we're gonna keep the format the way it is, and I appreciate your feedback. I'll talk to the staff. I'll talk to staff about it, but it's a matter of talking to the printer about the timeliness.
But I think it would also save money too, probably. Anyway, that's all I've got to say.
Thank you. All right, thanks for your comments. We do not have old business, but we do have a couple of things in our new business. And then the first item is consideration of approval of resolution 2025 for general fund budget revision number 1. Don, I'll turn it over to you.
This is again, just like last time, was for coal severance. This is for the general fund, a requirement to align the ending fund balance to the beginning fund balance of the new fiscal year. So again, this is an approximation because we haven't completed all the transactions and journal entries. So it appears that we have about a $250,000 increase in the fund balance. And what I did was decrease the balance from the contribution of the sales tax dollars.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for John? If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve budget revision number 1.
I'll make that motion.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item under new business is consideration and approval of 2025 approving the payment of project invoice for Blake Street Storm Drain Project Rehabilitation Project in the amount of $50,087.50. Motion and a second to approve the payment for project invoices in the amount of $50,087.50. Any further discussion, questions, or otherwise? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I will say, just for Danny, for your purposes and the contractors, started out a little rough because they were working pretty heavy over there, but the phone calls that we got early on have all been smoothed over. So thank you guys for going over and talking to the neighbors during that project, and as that project is ongoing. It was nice to ease the minds of those people who were worried their property wasn't going to be paid back correctly. That brings us to the end of the agenda. To comments, I'm just going to say I'll save the baseball stuff for Patrick and Tony. July 4th was very successful. Fantastic weekend here in the village, and I'll just say thanks to everybody for their involvement. First response, we had a few letters of thanks to the police department and fire department over various accidents, and I'll pass those along to the chief of each of those departments as well. And then for the sake of what we heard this evening, I'll get you guys the nuts and bolts of that program and get that into your hands so you can read it in detail, and we can bring that back at a subsequent council meeting as well. That's all I have, Rachel.
I don't think I have anything other than thank you all for being here. That's it.
Well, thank you all for being here. I'm kind of like Larry. I'd like to know to get the newsletter on time at a certain time frame. And if we're using the same printer, we did have issues with them before, but I don't know what the situation is now, so something that needs to be checked out so we can get the newsletter going. I checked out something that concerned me last meeting, and I just need to make sure that I'm not the only one that knows this. The area that is staked off at the Nancy Cartmill Park, I noticed that it was given to the city by the Board of Education. that.
Years ago, yeah.
Yes, that, I don't show by Earthside unless his site's wrong, that it's ever been owned by the VA hospital, the VA up here. And unless you know something more than I do.
No, that property was given, but the VA is actually, when I was talking to you about the survey of our property,
Uh-huh.
if you go up to their activities building, their ramp and part of that parking lot is their property that they've actually taken over, that is our property.
That is our property. Okay,
They're
I did see
actually,
that,
they're
yes.
intruding on our, they have encroached on our property, is what I was getting at.
Got you, okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's kinda confused me last time, I
Yep.
had to check it out. But otherwise, thank you all for coming, that's all I have.
I had forwarded you a letter about the farmer's market.
Yep.
And, didn't know I'm supposed to report back if, they anticipate more people participating.
There are, and I'll just tell you, based on what, I don't know who responded to you, I talked to Rachel and Brandy both, but the growing season is just not happening, and during the discussions, the initial discussions about the farmer's market was to let local farmers have their produce selection there and not have out-of-state or bought produce from the produce company down the road. This is actually for people to come and buy local produce. The growing season's not been what it has been in the last several years. Winters was there, well, there were a couple there this past weekend, and we're gonna see that traffic increase, but every single spot that we have for rent over there is already paid for. If they choose not to come,
Okay.
we can't make them come.
That's all I need to know.
Yep.
Thanks.
And the same thing, thank you.
You're up. Yep, you're up, sir.
I'm up. Thank you guys for coming. I don't have a lot to say either.
Right.
Thank you guys.
And I am gonna pass that. No, I only spoke up because he wasn't here the other day. It's his.
It's on me?
It's
Yeah,
on
you,
you,
man.
I got a couple short things. I was, I wasn't gonna say much about the Little League, but, they did host 3 state tournaments, over the last week and a half. And as a previous tournament director, I know what sometimes it takes to run a tournament and to pull it off without a hitch. And from the what I hear about out there, a lot of the participants, including ones that were going home early, were very happy with the surroundings of town, the park system, and thought this should be a place where they should host it permanently. So that's a pretty nice compliment about that, and I'll just say that the Little League, it looks like so thus far they're having another successful year representing Barboursville, and everybody knows those pinstripe uniforms when you're out there anywhere around the state. And they may not like us a whole lot, but they certainly respect us. So that's end of that. So you could have done that. But I may have missed the introduction and everything. Maybe I wasn't paying that much attention, but Bobby and Sharon, when they were here, I didn't know if they were proposing a change of health type stuff.
It's a supplemental plan.
But I did, when I was in previous employment, I did have the teledoc, benefit and that kind of stuff. And I can tell you that, that thing saves a whole lot of doctor's visits. And it's very helpful, and teledoc was, you can get those prescriptions without going to an added expense of a doctor's appointment, that kind of thing. So, if you have an opportunity to get teledoc for everybody, I would highly recommend it.
There's a lot of components of that, and there is cost savings with respect to what she was talking about with tax benefit. But I want to get nuts and bolts from them and get it in front of you guys. The Municipal League has absolutely endorsed this product, this program, and other cities, as you heard him say it, are doing it. And if it's something that can enhance things for our employees and it's a benefit to them, and it doesn't cost us, it doesn't cost us a fortune, I'd be in favor of doing something like that. But I'll get everything in writing to you guys, and then we can make a decision at a subsequent meeting and actually have a vote on it.
I know that as personally to teledoc, it saved me a whole lot of money, and I'm sure it saved my employer a whole lot of money, because I wouldn't, that percentage wasn't, they weren't having to pay either.
Anything else, sir?
That's all I got, thank you.
Sorry, I was just taking a note to remind me to send you guys information. If I don't do it as I'm thinking about it, get in one ear out the other. Department heads, you guys good? Thank you guys for being here, thanks for coming in, yep, sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead. If you wanna.
I'll leave it to you.
Okay, at the municipal conference coming up in August, it happens during our meeting. There is, training and seminars on the new election requirements with respect to how the elections line up and whatnot. Everyone is going. Rachel and I both plan on going, so that week, we're gonna switch our council meeting to Thursday instead of Tuesday, so that we can attend those. Mark will be there as well. It's important because in 2 years, we've got things coming up, so the educational component is gonna be really important at this particular conference. So we'll move our meeting to Thursday, and that first meeting in August.
This is August
The 7th.
5th, we meet, the 7th, which is Thursday.
Yeah, correct. If there's nothing else, is that right? Am I right on dates? I think I'm right.
Yeah, you are. And of course,
All right. Anyway, I'll get Rachel to send an email out to you guys too, but we will also advertise it as we always do. If there's nothing further, we will adjourn the meeting. Thanks everybody for coming.
Yeah, look.